Hello my dear students, I welcome you all to my channel. Today in this video we are going to learn class 10 English chapter Elixir of Life's question and answer. And this is the part 1 of the session and we'll be discussing the answers in detail. And the video of the explanation of this chapter was earlier uploaded in my channel. If you need it, I'll be sharing the link of this video in my description box from wherein you can go to the link and see the explanation too. So let's move on to the question and answers. But before that, students, if you're viewing my video for the first time, do subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that you get the notifications of my latest upcoming videos. Do watch the video till end, and if you like it, do hit the like button and share among your friends too. Okay, students, so let's move on to the question and answers. These are from your textbook heading comprehension questions, and under that we have answer briefly the following questions, wherein the first question is, what is the imaginary elixir of life? So here, imaginary, what do we imagine as a magical liquid or substance of life? So the answer according to the textbook is the divine Amrita, which can make man immortal, is the imaginary elixir of life. Divine is something related to God, something spiritual. Amrita is again making something immortal, a liquid which makes you immortal. So this divine Amrita, which can make man to exist forever and ever, which has no death, no end, is the imaginary elixir of life. That means the human imagines that kind of Amrita, that will be the elixir of life. Okay, so this way you can write the simple answer. Next, second question, what according to the writer is the real elixir of life? So here writer also says that what is the real elixir of life according to him? So answer is, according to the writer, plain water is the real elixir of life. As you know, plain water is very essential and important and valuable in each and every living being's life. So thus it is the real elixir of life. Rather than imaginary, this is the real elixir of life. If you don't have water to drink, you cannot survive on the earth. So thus, according to the writer, plain water is the real elixir of life. Okay, let's move on to the next question. What is the wonderful difference the writer talks about in paragraph 2? When you read the chapter, paragraph 2, there it's mentioned the wonderful difference. What is it? What wonderful difference is the writer talking about? So let's see, the answer is, the wonderful difference the writer talks about is between two areas. So he talks about the difference between two areas. One is the Libyan desert and the Nile Valley. We have seen in the video, in the explanation, there are two different places just segregated, and there's one side a Libyan desert and the other side by Nile Valley. He says the sea of billowing sand without a speck of green on the side of Libyan desert, and the green, fertile, densely populated area on the valley of the Nile in Egypt. So he says the wonderful difference is when he stands there and see one side, he sees he can see the Libyan desert, a sea of billowing sand. You can see the sand spread out in acres and acres of land without a speck of green on the side. There's not even a single dot of green or leaves available or visible there. And that is at the side of Libyan desert. And on the other side where he says he could see green, fertile, densely populated area, which is full of greeneries, forest, thick forest, and that is on the valley of the Nile in Egypt, because river Nile flows from there. So this is what the wonderful difference, just standing in between, and he sees two different wonderful things. That is why he has mentioned the wonderful difference. Thus you can write the answer like the students. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Question 4, what brought about this wonderful difference? So he's asking like what has brought this wonderful difference in the either side. One side you have the whole desert, the other side you have this wonderful greenery. How has this wonderful difference? How is it possible? Then what had made it? So let's see the answer. The wonderful difference was brought about by the water of river Nile flowing down the Mediterranean from its sources a couple of thousands of miles away. So why do we see this difference? One side being a Libyan desert, other side, how come there is so much of greenery? So the answer is, it's just because the difference was brought about by the water which is flowing with River Nile, along with River Nile, and it flows down to the Mediterranean. Towards the Mediterranean, it moves, and from its various sources, it's flowing down there, and from couple of thousands of miles away, it travels a long distance and comes towards there and goes towards this valley, and thus make it a wonderful difference by having good greenery there, because the water contains carries silt, sands, and to make the land very fertile, and which in return it gives a very greenery and a very good agriculture and field over there. So that is how we see the wonderful difference over there. That is the thing which has brought the wonderful difference. Okay, so you can write in the simple words. Next, fifth question: what is the cheering sight mentioned in paragraph 5? What is the sight which makes the writer very cheerful, very happy? The answer is the cheering sight to the writer is the filled rain-fed tanks that are so common in South India. So the sight which makes the writer very cheering, very happy is the rain-fed tanks, the tanks which are made and which is filled with the rain waters, which is very commonly seen in the South India, in the south of India. If you go there in that area, everywhere you find the tanks where the water is fed, and it is usually the rain-fed water tanks. It's due to the rainwater which the tanks have been filled. So this is a cheering sight for the writer. Okay, so you can write in this way. Next, sixth question, you have two sub questions under that. The first one, we'll see the first. What does the writer compare water in a landscape to? So what is the writer comparing the water in a landscape? There's a landscape, and what is the water being compared by the writer? So the answer is the writer compares water in a landscape to the eyes in a human face. Like he's saying that this water in a landscape is like eyes in a human face. How the eye is in a human face, in the same way this water is in the landscape. Okay, so this way you can write. Then the B question, why does he make this comparison? What is the reason? So answer is, he makes this comparison because water reflects the mood of the hour, being bright in day when the sun shines, turning to dark and gloomy when the sky is overcast. So he says he compares this because he feels that this water reflects the mood of the hour. Every hour your mood changes, the environment, the atmosphere changes, and it makes you to understand what kind of mood of the day it is. For example, for it's a morning, and if it's sunshine, if it's bright day, then it's very shining. The water also shines, and it's very bright. And in the same way, when it turns dark, it becomes dark and gloomy. Even the water, a small pot of water which is there in the landscape, it becomes dark and gloomy when the sky is overcast, when the sky becomes black. As you open your eyes and close your eyes, in the same way, it also says the mood of the hour, whether it is night or whether it is day. When it's sunshine, it shines brightly as if the eyes are open. And when it's dark, when it's night, it becomes dark as if it's closing its eyes. So this is what the comparison is made here according to the writer. So this way you can write it in simple words, students. So let's move on to the next one. Seventh question, how does the water in rain-fed tanks get its color? Okay, so when we read the chapter, we came across that this rain-fed tanks had changed its color. The color of the water was changed. Well, how does it happen? So answer is, the color in the rain-fed tanks is from the silt or soil suspension. This color varies with the nature of the earth in the catchment area and is most vivid immediately after the fresh flowing rain. So what happens, the color in the rain-fed tanks is because it forms the silt underneath. Below the river, below the tanks, you find the small sand particles which has been accumulated. So that is what changing the color of the rain-fed tanks. And this colors varies, it differs with the nature of the earth in the catchment area. And if you compare the color of the water in the tank, stored tank, and the fresh flowing water from the rain, you will have a wide difference in the color. It will vary, it will differ. Like rainwater will be very fresh and pure. It will be like, oh, very pure in color. It will not have any mixing or salt, soil mixed in it. Whereas in the rain-fed tanks, in the tanks, if you see that water, it will be yellowish brownish color, because of the muds and the silts which have been accumulated below. So that is why it varies. That is what written here. The color in the rain-fed tanks is from the silt or soil suspension. It's a muddy water. Okay. And this color varies with the nature of the earth in the catchment area and is most vivid immediately after a fresh inflow following rain. So catchment area is nothing but from the area from where the water flows and joins the rivers and lakes and other tanks and all. Sometimes you have a tunnel or a channel being fixed to a tank from where the water flows and come and gets accumulated in the tank. So while it's flowing through that channel, it carries many of the salty, sandy water and silted water along with it. Thus, it changes the color. Okay. So this is in this way you can write the answer. Eighth question: what is the main cause of soil erosion? So let us write see the main causes of soil erosion. You know what is soil erosion, right? When the fertility of the soil is being eroded away. So what is the main cause of it? So the answer is the sudden burst of excessively heavy rain resulting in a heavy flow of water is the main cause of soil erosion. So when you're having sudden burst of the heavy rain, it starts pouring down very heavily and it results in very heavy flow of water. So when the water flows from the soil, from the ground, the top layer, the topmost layer of the soil, which is very fertile and fit for the growth of the plants and trees, it gets eroded away, it gets washed away. So thus it leads to soil erosion. So this is the main reason of soil erosion. Okay, so you can write sudden burst of excessively heavy rain resulting in a heavy flow of water as the main cause of soil erosion. Okay, let's go on to the next one. What other factors add to the erosion of precious soil? Like what are the other factors other than heavy rain? What are the other factors that erodes the precious soil, the nutrients of the soil? So answer is, the other factors that add to the erosion of precious soil are the slope of the land, removal of natural protective coat of vegetation, the existence of ruts along which the water can flow rapidly, gathering momentum, and the absence of any checks to such flow. Okay, so what are the other factors? Why, how does it flows away the nutrient soil? So it's a sloping land. If the land is slopy and you are having the trees and the muddy water which has been just sloping, sliding away and moving away, so that is one cause. The next is removal of natural protective coat of vegetation. Sometimes there may be extra trees which are unwanted, which have been grown in the fields or in the mountains, which is acting as a protective shield there. But if you cut out those trees and plants, the useless trees and plants which are there, which is acting as protective coat, then it's natural that all the soil will be just moving away. When the trees are standing there, it just catches hold of that soil. So that is how you can protect it. But here, when you remove this natural protective coat, it will just wash away. So that becomes another factor. Then existence of ruts along which the water can flow rapidly, gathering the momentum, and the absence of any checks to such flow. Means you have sometimes the channels, the small streams, like where you put the pipelines in such way you dig it. So that channels, if it is existing below near the greeneries, then what happened? These are known as ruts, these channels. So from there, the water will flow away rapidly, carrying all the soil nutrients. And if you don't check that, and if you don't try to check and stop that flows, then again the water and the nutrients of the soil will be washed away. So this becomes the other factors of eroding the precious soil and the fertile soil from the upper layer of the ground. Okay, so these are the other factors. You can write it. Next question: how can soil erosion be prevented? The next question is, how will you prevent the soil erosion? So answer is, soil erosion can be prevented by terracing of land, construction of bunds to check the flow of water, the practice of contour cultivation, and the planting of appropriate types of vegetation. So here students, it can be prevented by terracing of land. Means on your top, on the terrace, you can cultivate some, you can start growing some plants, and you could put some of the uh, you can grow some of the plants where the soil will remain there. It will not get flown away because it is just packed from all the sides. So you can save your fertility of the soil. The next is construction of bunds like dams and all to collect the water instead of flowing and just moving away. Along with it, it washes the fertile soil also. So you can construct the bunds and dams so that the flow of water is stopped, it is checked. Okay. Then the practice of contour cultivation. Now you should start doing contour cultivation to prevent soil erosion. So what is contour cultivation? Growing the trees and the plants on the slopey areas, on the mountainous areas. For example, you have tree plantation, you have coffee plantation, which you see is done in a contour cultivation manner on the slopey areas. So there, when the trees and plants are there, it catches the roots from the ground and the soil is just fixed, and it is not so easy to wash away the nutrients. So thus contour cultivation will also prevent your soil erosion. And the next thing is the planting of appropriate types of vegetation. Proper type of trees and plants should be planted in the required area. Wherever there is a damage, or wherever there is a gap where from where the soil can be flown away, there you can fix the plants so that the vegetation is done properly. And this is how you can prevent the soil erosion. I hope you have understood these many questions, students. I hope I made it clear. I was trying to make it more easier, and the rest of the questions which are left out, I'll be soon uploading in my upcoming videos. So thank you for watching my video. If you liked it, do hit the like button, and we'll be soon back with the other questions and mains of this chapter. Thank you, students.